welcome to the deep dive. Our source material today is, well, it's less a dry academic study and more a true crime story.
Yeah, a deep dive into a small town grappling with a murder that exposed some pretty lethal secrets tied to storytelling itself.
Exactly. We're looking at a case where communication, or maybe weaponized communication, had deadly results.
And our mission really is to untangle this complex knot. You've got personal grudges, local politics, ethical land disputes.
All swirling around the death of Nora Cooper.
Right. And specifically, we want to examine what happens when gossip, even nonpartisan gossip, becomes a tool that can, push people to revenge or conspiracy.
So the starting point is pretty stark, isn't it? Nora Cooper, this figure everyone loves, she read nursery rhymes at the library.
It's a real community fixture.
And then she's found murdered, dumped in Laguna Lake.
In a full Mother Goose costume, no less.
Which is just bizarre, and strangled with a rope, killed somewhere else first.
It's immediately unsettling. But then comes the twist, the paradox.
This seemingly sweet storyteller, she had a secret life.
A pretty venomous one, actually. She was the tattler.
An anonymous gossip columnist for the local paper, the Central Coast Freedom Press.
And this wasn't just idle chatter. The sources say the tattler published secrets meant to, quote, destroy lives and inspire revenge.
So suddenly it's not just a random crime.
No, the suspect pool just exploded. Anyone with a secret in that town could be involved.
Okay, so let's start where investigations often do. The immediate circle. Money, emotions. The divorce seems key here.
Definitely. Nora's split from her ex-husband, Roy Hudson, was incredibly bitter. The sources highlight the context.
Which was terrible. She divorced him for cheating.
While their young son was dying, it's hard to imagine a deeper betrayal.
Yeah, and the fight wasn't over. They were still battling over the property settlement.
Specifically over this prize-winning thoroughbred stud horse, Czar.
Right. Roy offered, what, 25 grand?
A low-ball offer. Nora insisted Czar was worth 10 times that in potential stud fees. So we're talking about a $250,000 difference.
That's significant motive right there.
Yeah.
Financial pressure.
And it wasn't just history. This fight was ongoing. Roy was questioned immediately because someone called in anonymously.
Reporting a huge argument between him and Nora.
Exactly. Right outside the library the night she was killed. Apparently, Nora had been drinking. It got loud, heated.
All about the divorce and the horse, Czar.
So yeah, classic domestic motive. Seems straightforward.
But it wasn't the only major conflict surrounding Nora. There was this big ethical fight brewing over land.
Ah, yes, Bonita Peak. Popular hiking spot. Nora owned it.
And she was planning to sell it off to developers.
Which, as you can imagine, absolutely enraged the local environmentalists.
Enter Peter Grant.
Right. He's an activist, runs a sports store, and he's a mountain climber.
The mountain climber connection is interesting, given the cause of death.
Strangled with a rope. And Grant would certainly have access to ropes and know how to use them. Plus, he was openly hostile about the development.
He'd even threatened Nora's brother, Nick, over related issues, didn't he?
He did. Which brings us to another layer of this, the inheritance problem.
Because after Nora died, Bonita Peak went to her brother, Nick Cooper.
Who happens to be the head reference librarian, right there at the center of things.
And Nick inherits this massive ethical headache along with the land.
It's a fascinating dilemma. Nora had made her wishes clear. Sell the land, take the money.
And donate it to the local hospital and an AIDS hospice. A really significant philanthropic goal.
A huge potential benefit to the community, but completely at odds with the environmentalists' goal.
Led by Peter Grant, who wants Nick to donate the land to their conservancy, the Greenland Conservancy, to protect it forever.
So Nick is caught. Honor his sister's charitable legacy by selling, or side with the conservationists for the common good, losing the donation money but saving the peak.
It's an impossible choice, really, and it highlights how money, land, and morality are all tangled up in this town.
That tension is everywhere in this story.
Yeah, it really makes you think about where personal property rights end and community good begins. But we know these disputes, the horse, the land, they weren't the ultimate reason she was killed.
No. The real danger, the trigger, was her identity as the tattler.
How did that specific identity lead to the killer?
Well, the editor of the Freedom Press, Will Henry, confirmed Nora was the tattler, and he explained her method.
She used her positions, right?
Yeah.
At the library, on the festival committee.
Exactly. Perfect cover. Gave her access to all sorts of community information, gossip, secrets, and she used it to dig up dirt.
Which led her to some very dangerous secrets. held by powerful people.
Very dangerous. Let's talk about Ash Stanhill.
The popular local guy,
Yeah.
restaurant owner, investor, seems respectable.
On the surface. But Nora, as the tattler, had apparently uncovered his past. A pretty disturbing pattern of financial crimes back in Mississippi.
What kind of pattern?
It was quite specific, according to the sources. He'd start businesses, an ice cream shop, a magazine, a restaurant, an art gallery. 4 of them.
Okay.
They'd boom for 1 year, pay back early investors really well, build buzz, then year 2, they'd crash and burn.
Leaving the later investors broke.
Exactly. And somehow, Ash always walked away with money. It looked like bad luck, business failure.
But it was potentially a calculated scam, a kind of localized pump and dump.
Precisely. Never proven, but the pattern was there. And in San Selena, influential people like Constance Sinclair had put money into his current restaurant, Eudora's.
So if Nora published that history in her Tatler column,
It would ruin him, destroy his reputation, his finances, everything he'd built in town. That's a powerful motive to silence her.
absolutely. But even that wasn't the secret that got her killed, was it?
No, that was potent, but the sources point to something far more catastrophic, a secret held by someone even closer to Nora.
Jillian Sinclair, her
Yeah.
boss, the library director.
Yeah, and Jillian's secret was, well, horrifying.
What had Nora found out?
Nora had seen Jillian getting rid of her dead husband's body.
What? Getting rid of it how?
Jillian had buried him under the library's brand new patio.
Wait, buried. Under the library patio, the heart of the community.
Literally. A body hidden right there in plain sight. And Nora knew.
And she was going to expose it.
How? Apparently, she planned to reveal it publicly. Maybe even leverage the storytelling festival for maximum impact.
Wow. The irony is just
Eager.
staggering.
Yeah.
Revealing a buried body at a storytelling festival.
Whether she had hard proof or just the accusation, the threat was existential for Jillian. Exposure meant prison, total ruin.
So Jillian was the primary killer.
Yes. But she didn't act entirely alone. She realized she needed help, especially as things started to unravel.
Who else was involved? Ash Stanhill.
Ash was definitely a co-conspirator. His motive was clear. Protect his reputation, his money, keep his past buried, just like Jillian's husband.
And there was a third.
Dolores Ayala, another storyteller, a pottery artist. Jillian apparently pulled her in later.
Why later? What changed?
Benni, the protagonist of the source material, the police chief's wife. She found the evidence Nora had hidden.
The smoking gun, the Tatler discs.
Exactly. Nora had hidden computer disks containing her final columns, the ones that would expose both Ash and Jillian.
And Benni tracked them down.
Through a really interesting local character, Mr. Iacocca, they called him. A homeless man, also known as the date book bum.
The date book bum.
Yeah, because he kept these incredibly detailed notebooks, diaries of everything he saw and heard in town. His notes apparently helped Benni figure out where Nora hid those discs.
Amazing. So Benni gets the discs, finds the final Tatler columns.
She scans them in the library's computer lab, realizes the danger.
And that leads directly to the confrontation.
It does. Jillian and Ash corner Benni in the library basement. Cold, concrete storage space.
And their plan.
Kill Benni. They had a gun. The plan was to make it look like a murder-suicide.
Pinning it all on Dolores Ayala, their own partner.
It seems Dolores had become a loose end, a liability. Framing her would clean everything up, silence anyone who knew about Jillian's husband or Ash's past.
Desperate measures.
Extremely. But Benni fought back. Shoved Ash, apparently, causing both him and Jillian to fall down the concrete stairs.
Which ended their attempt right there. Incredible bravery.
It really was. Stops the immediate threat.
Now, let's just pause for a second on the investigators here. Chief Gabe Ortiz, Benni's husband. This whole thing is unfolding. Secrets are coming out. What was happening on their home front?
Oh, it was chaos. Absolute pressure cooker. Gabe was dealing with the case, obviously, but also immense personal strain.
Grief, right,
Ooh.
over a friend's death.
Yes, profound grief. And huge professional stress. The local papers, like the Tribune and even Nora's Freedom Press, were attacking his handling of the case.
There was that line calling Benni the Hillary Clinton of the San Selena Police Department.
Yeah, basically accusing her of meddling because she was the chief's wife, even though she was uncovering crucial clues, undermining Gabe's authority.
And then their house gets filled with unexpected guests.
Right when they need space the most. Their small 2-bedroom home suddenly has Gabe's estranged son, Sam.
Who, to his credit, seemed to be trying to get his act together.
Got a job? He did show some maturity, yeah. Ironically, he got a job working at Ash Stanhill's restaurant, Eudora's, which adds another layer of complication.
And Benni's cousin shows up, too.
Her flamboyant cousin, Rita, recently separated, lands on their doorstep.
And immediately starts going after Ash Stanhill.
Pursuing him romantically, yes. Just imagine the tension. Trying to solve a conspiracy involving Ash while he's being courted by your houseguest cousin and your estranged son works for him.
It's almost like a pressure release valve that's actually increasing the pressure.
Exactly. The sources use this domestic chaos to show just how besieged Benni and Gabe were. Fighting crime, family drama, public scrutiny, all at once.
It really paints a picture. And this idea of constant scrutiny, it comes back with the datebook bum, doesn't it?
It really does. That detail about his notebook. It wasn't just random jottings.
Meticulous records, apparently.
Daily entries. What he ate, who he talked to, names mentioned, like Elvia Aragon, the manager at Blind Harry's bar, what junk he found.
It's like a mirror image of the Tattler, in a way.
A fascinating parallel. One used gossip gathered through social access, the other used street-level observation, but both show the same thing. This community was under constant, unseen watch.
Eyes everywhere, recording things.
Information being gathered, stored, sometimes harmlessly, sometimes not.
This brings us back to the power of words, the central theme. There's that story mentioned, told at the farmer's market.
Ah, yes. The rabbi's story. It's powerful, really anchors the whole message.
Can you remind us?
Sure. It's about a man who slandered a rabbi and later felt remorse. He asks the rabbi how he can make amends.
And the rabbi tells him,
take a feather pillow to the highest hill, cut it open, and let the wind scatter all the feathers. The man does it. Then the rabbi says, now go and collect every single feather.
which is impossible, of course.
Utterly impossible. And that's the point. Words, gossip, slander, like Norris Tatler columns, once they're out there, you can't take them back. The damage spreads, you can never fully undo it.
A perfect metaphor for what happened here. Norris scattered her feathers, and the consequences were fatal.
The wind carried them straight to people like Gillian Ash, who felt they had no choice but to react violently.
So, wrapping this up, we have the bizarre death of Mother Goose, revealed to be the deadly Tattler. What's the final analysis? Why did Nora Cooper really die?
At its core, it wasn't just about the horse or the land dispute, though those were convenient motives and red herrings. The real driver was the secret Nora held about Gillian burying her husband.
The foundational crime.
Yes, and Nora's plan to weaponize that secret through the Tatler column made her an existential threat. She had to be silenced to protect that original hidden crime and Ash's related financial secrets.
So the system, in a dark way, corrected itself to maintain the status quo for the powerful.
You could see it that way. Her death was directly caused by the information she wielded.
And the resolution. The sources confirm arrests were made.
Yes. Gillian Sinclair, Ash Stanhill, and Dolores Ayala were all arrested. Justice, or at least accountability, seems to have been served there.
And on the home front, any relief for Gabe and Benni?
Some positive movement. Sam, the son, starts reconciling with Gabe. He moves out to a ranch with his girlfriend, Dove, so hopefully some peace returns to their household.
Good. A bit of resolution after all that chaos.
But that central tension Nora created with her will, that lingers.
Right. Nick Cooper. Inheriting Bonita Peak and that impossible choice. Sell for philanthropy, funding the hospital and hospice as Nora wanted.
Or donate it for preservation, siding with the environmentalists and the perceived common good.
It leaves us and Nick with a really difficult question. And maybe that's the final thought for you listening.
When you have these competing values, personal property rights versus the community's interest, especially in something like land, how do you decide?
What line should one draw between personal property rights and the common good of a community? Where does that balance lie? Something to think about.